Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel. So the late, great Jeff Beck's gear collection has recently been auctioned off, and it has set and broken records. Now, the entire auction, all the different items, totaled more than $11 million. And if you look at some of the individual instruments within there, they set the record for the most expensive Les Paul ever sold and the most expensive Jackson guitar ever sold. Let's check this out. Okay guys, let's go on over and check out this article I've got up here and look at the results of some of the auction also. But of course guys, real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool new guitars and staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you've not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, so we've got the article over here. This is on guitar.com, and like usual, I'm going to have a link to the original article in the video description below. But here's the headline. Jeff Beck's guitar collection has been sold for nearly 9 million pounds at auction. That's over 11 million US dollars. And his 1954 Oxblood Les Paul fetched over 1 million pounds. The auction included 130 guitars, amps, and accessories. There's the man himself, and let's read on the article here. It starts off, a collection of 130 guitars, amps, and other pieces of guitar gear belonging to the late Jeff Beck have sold at auction for a total of nearly 9 million pounds. The Jeff Beck The Guitar Collection auction was hosted by Christie's and was arranged by Beck's widow, Sandra Cash, whom he instructed to put the instruments for auction prior to his death. She says, "These guitars were his great love, and almost 2 years after his passing, it's time to part with them, as Jeff wished. After some hard thinking, I decided they needed to be shared, played, and loved again." The article goes on here. The highest selling piece of the collection is Beck's 1954 Oxblood Gibson Les Paul, which went for the princely sum of 1,068,500 pounds. And if you convert that into US dollars, that's over $1.3 million. This is a record-breaking number for the most expensive Les Paul ever sold. The previous record went to Duane Allman's 1957 Gibson Les Paul at $1.25 million back in 2019. So Jeff Beck's guitar broke the previous record by almost $80,000. It also says here, another standout Les Paul from Beck's collection was his 1959 Les Paul Standard. That one sold for 403,200 pounds, blowing its initial 40 to 60,000 estimate out of the water. Imagine that. Now this is the one that's really fascinating to me, the Jackson guitar here. There it is. It says here, other pieces of Beck's collection broke records as well. The hot pink 1983 Jackson Soloist, that's a very, very early Jackson Soloist when you go back to 1983, but that has Tina Turner's autograph scratched on it with a switchblade, went for 441,000 pounds, the most expensive sale for a Jackson guitar. The pedal board he used on his 2022 tour was the most expensive pedal board sale at 126,000 pounds. So they're just breaking records left and right here. The representative from the auction had this to say, "We are thrilled with the results of Jeff Beck's incredible collection, which pay testament to the legacy of a genius, a globally revered true rock legend," says Amelia Walker, Christie's Specialist Head of Private and Iconic Collections. Passionate bidders competed for every lot in the sale, with each achieving many multiples of their pre-sale estimate. The article finishes off here. Though it didn't break a record, Beck's 1990-1993 Fender Custom Shop Stratocaster Anushka sold for 1,008,000 pounds. The record for a Strat is still held by David Gilmour's Black Strat, which sold for almost $4 million back in 2019. Okay guys, so we get these news articles all the time about so-and-so's guitar was auctioned for this much or something, or some guitar that was hidden away in somebody's closet for years was recently discovered and is going to auction. That stuff happens a lot. But to me, this auction is very, very different. The stuff that was in this auction largely is gear that Jeff Beck was actually using, and a lot of this stuff is stuff that he used for decades, right? It wasn't just something that he used like as a promotion and then he autographed it and they auctioned it for charity or something like that. I mean, that stuff is cool and it's great when people can raise a lot of money for charity that way, but to me it's very different. Something like that is very different than somebody that a musician owned and used in the studio, on stage, for years, and in this case, multiple decades, especially when it's somebody like Jeff Beck, who was so just iconic and innovative and influential. I think if somebody wanted to buy a piece of rock and roll history, whoever bought this stuff, I mean, this was a good choice. Now we can click on this link and go over to the Christie's Auction House website, and you can see the full collection and then how much this stuff ended up being auctioned off for. And it's pretty fascinating because obviously there's a ton of, vintage Strats and Telecasters and things like that in here. And most of these went for super, super high prices. But let's sort this the other way around. Low to high. What was the least expensive Jeff Beck piece of gear you could get? Okay, a violin. Of course, a violin would be the cheapest piece of gear for a rock and roll guitar player, right? A violin went for 2,394 pounds. There's a painting of Johnny Depp, do I have that right? That went for about 3,780 pounds. And then, yeah, there's a few, there's some weird instruments like a ukulele that was 5,000 pounds, some pedals here that were about the same. So, I mean, I don't know if, I don't think people are buying this stuff because like, oh, I just really wanted an Oberheim Electronics pedal. I don't think people were buying this stuff because they really wanted that specific thing. But if you want to own a piece of the technological legacy of Jeff Beck's career, you could get it for about $6,000. That's really not that bad. Okay, obviously, I'm not going to go through all of this stuff. That's going to take a long time. But I'm going to put a link for the auction website and then also that original news article. And put links for that stuff down in the video description below if you want to check that out. Okay, guys, but let me know what you think about all this stuff down in the video description below. Do you think these prices are justified? They're just like a bunch of collectors that are completely out of their minds, buying this stuff as investments? Maybe the price, maybe the value of these things is going to go up the next 5 or 10 years. Who knows, right? Or do you think these prices are 100% justified considering who owned this stuff in the past? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And of course, there's going to be links for the original articles in the video description below, as well as links for my social media and my online YouTube course and all that other stuff, video description below. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you very soon.